Good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning.
So, we are colorful today. We realize
Yes.
that it's a good change. It's a good change.
Yeah, I'm fresh out of the shower. I hope you can hear me well. My headphones are like switching on and off.
No, it's perfect.
Um, okay, I already said to Caro, I have no idea what it is about today, so we'll be, yeah,
Open
seeing.
and starting,
How are
of
you, Caro?
course. I am fine. I am not at home again. So, just following what needs to be done here in Brazil, and we had big storms in the last days. Actually, Zeka, São
Big
Paulo
what?
had storms.
Hmm.
So São Paulo had strong rain. It wasn't really a storm here as expected, but Rio and Espírito Santo, which are all other states, Brazilian states, had a huge storm again with overfloating of cities, with at least 12 people died from yesterday to today due to the overfloatings. And somehow this is the topic that stayed in mind because of the climate change. So many people still discuss about it, if it's happening, if it's not happening. And what I sense, and also based on my studies, I am professor for sustainability and infrastructure. And in class, we use also data from specialized websites that follow also those disasters around the globe. And if there is one thing that we can say is that we don't know when they will happen because they are every day more unstable and unpredictable. But what we know, what that data observes, is that every strike, every climate event that happens is stronger. It's like it comes with a more massive uh, nature power, but in a destruction way because it's just too much for our cities nowadays to handle, be it in the coast or inside of the country. It doesn't matter. So the wind is much stronger. The water that flows is much more water. So when we speak, for example, about infrastructure in the university classes, um, we tell people when you plan from now onwards, you need to have in mind a very flexible infrastructure because it needs to be resilience against those types of weather happenings. But in fact, what we should be speaking about is not only how that infrastructure could become more resilient, but really as an emergency in our world, what should we be doing to transform cities that we are not doing or we are doing too slow. I mean, just bringing out electric cars will not solve the problem. Asking cars to stop circulating in the city centers, like if they have normal fuel, will also not stop the problem. The biggest problem is in the big industries, in the how do you say, um, what's the word for those big touristic ships?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Those,
Yes, you know.
mm-hmm.
I don't know the word, but yeah, those big, huge ships that just go across the coasts with tourists. There are a lot of number of planes going here and there, and in the cities. If we talk about a smaller action that we should be taking is like in planning. So the problem of our cities today is that they have a too high density, population density. So there is not enough space between houses, so to say. There is not enough green, and our rivers got, while we built those cities, they were put under the ground. So many cities, the most of them, they just closed the rivers and they flow now under the surface. And when such rains come, they cause the overfloating because they get full, of course, and there is no place to just flow out that water because the water is trapped. So why are we not getting together as population to rebuild and really rethink our cities? Is that already big enough for our brains that we say, I'm not able to do this? How can I do this? It's an entire city, right?
Hmm. I think we have to. There are people enough, there are resources enough, and maybe this is about the change. What happens right now? The first thing that came to me, I was thinking, I will forget it. Um, it was instability, um, because you said the systems are not able to hold things at the moment, which leads to instability. This is what people sense. This is what I might get mad of.
Mhm.
Um, and so to somehow find that stability in yourself, in themselves, this is about education, I think, to share how they can learn that, how they can feel it in themselves, that they don't feel. No, it's a different way. I think
Go
leading
on,
from the
go
micro to
on.
the macrocosmos,
Yes.
this instability might happen because we feel in still expression of what we are. So once we get back to ourselves and feel the stability in ourselves, the outside has to change. So how do we get there? Yes, one thing is the education, is to speak from the heart to people so they might connect, because when they're in fear, they hear, they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but when they hear how to talk to the hair, uh, um, this is the only thing that might resonate then, because when you can also talk with logic then, but when you're not um, keeping up with them in those heart frequencies, I think they won't understand.
That's
um,
absolutely true, Zika. And this brings us back to spiritual education. This is about spiritual education. It's not religion, right? We need to subline that every time. It's a spiritual education that we say about this time on earth people should have completed their spiritual course, their spiritual education, but they didn't. So we do need to rush for that. I think the word is spiritual education because it's the only thing that allows you to stay strong and aligned and get all this instability and don't suffer with it, as you said. So it's like I see the world is changing and things are falling apart, and what was true is not true anymore. What we talked about, I don't know what's coming next, but you are so certain of yourself, your capabilities. So this is also self knowledge, right? It's like confidence, self confidence, self knowledge. I know that I am capable of. I have this trust. Doesn't matter if the world is falling apart, if there is a war going on and my city is completely destroyed, I know that what I'm capable of and I wrap it up and I hold it strong here. I hold it strong here, and then I am able to put this into action. So I think you are completely right. This capability is what is missing to most people yet. And your question was like, our question today maybe is, okay, how do you develop that?
Um, I think some people are looking some videos, or they're watching them, or um, those. I don't think it makes sense to get with that topics to people who are not in that field, not a bit. So it's about concentrating on them who are open for that. Um, then you were talking about density, so that there are so many people in the cities, um, so many, so much energy, so much, yeah, density. It's just dense, and um, yeah, I feel that too, and I can imagine this will change, since many people I know have the feeling, they have the desire, the great wish to go out,
Mm,
to build their own villages together, because even families, it isn't working.
mm,
A mother, father, child house thing isn't working. I mean, I experienced, um, and and of course there are different reasons for, but I'm quite sure that transformation of the society can happen, due when we put the older ones into yeah, places, or um, work,
mhm.
not work, into places where they can still take part, and to beitragen, to
To
put their
contribute.
thanks, to contribute to the people, to the system, to the no to the society, not system,
Mhm,
society.
mhm,
um, so this might make a big change in those books about talking to God. There was in the third book, I don't know how it's conversations with God, it's called in
mm,
English, I guess. um, there it's written that old people are the ones who are responsible for educating children or raising children.
mm.
And in the first place I was like, ooh, giving away my children? No, no, it's a completely different concept, because they say, or God says in that book, well, the young people, they're busy enough about what they really want, and so, and the old ones, they can do that because they have more experience, they know what they are doing. And so this might be a drastic change in the system, which may
Yes,
lead to, I don't say that it has to be that way. And in that yeah,
form.
experiment, no, not experiment, in that thing, the parents could also be with their children. Of course the children know who are their parents, but yeah, it's, they can decide how much time they want to spend with each other. And that was interesting, just to make up my mind, and to think what would be if, yeah. And yeah, also to go out in the villages or so, it's a big change, because also the infrastructure,
Mhm,
which is there, but it's new. People need to leave their known space, their known, maybe also a place of unhappiness, but this is what they know, so this is sure, and this is safe, so they're leaving that place maybe for happiness. But it takes, it's like this instability thing, to find that in yourself. And so it's also trusting yourself. If the desire or the wish is to go there, this will be fine. Just do it.
Yes, I think people. I think no. I am sure that people who go for such projects, like going out of the city, constructing a village, and thinking is like it's so many things to think about. They need to have this courage because it's as you said. It's about I take the responsibility to take the infrastructure from the city into another area outside. I will be the one building it with other people. And the technology is there. And it's about prioritizing resources. So I think this is really a calling that we sense today. Like if you feel it inside, go home and like do your financial homework. Put your mind to think about who I am connected with that has also this wish, this feeling. How can we propose a project? And nowadays there is even financial support for this kind of effort to build villages outside. And I'm saying like this is not like 20 years before where people went out just to build villages and say we will get away from the real world and we will live differently and in outer space, so to say. I'm exaggerating just to make it clear how the difference should be maybe today, right? Because there is a purpose to stay connected, to work together with other villages, with other centers. And like there must be also a production goal there, like to be self-sufficient, to have your own energy. So you need technologies, not just building houses and thinking I'll have my peace here and I don't care about the rest. No, how can you really contribute? And I say it out of own experience. So while I was living in the countryside, before I had the calling to move to the city again, because I need to be um, close to other centers now, I was taking part on such a project and it's being built. People are still there and they are building it. And it's a project with about 30 families. So you can imagine it's not easy to find consent for everything with 30 families. And you need to speak about every small detail, like how are we deciding things? This is the very first point. Is it voting? Is
Whew.
it consenting? Right? And if you decide for consent and not voting, you need to have patience with yourself, with others, because it's about consent. So the decision is not made until everybody
Wow.
says okay, right? And you should not give up because you're just tired of talking, but you have the authentic wish for to find the best option for everybody in that circle, right? And that has to do with life purpose and common purpose and the purpose of that place. So, in that case, for that village, the purpose is organic rural production together with a good quality of life with the available technology together so that we don't need to access energy, for example, from the city, but we have our own energy, we have our own um, water source, we have our own food, and we are able to sell food, healthy food, to the local cities, not to Europe, for example. It's always local,
Wow.
right?
Great. I think maybe we can need your help then later.
Yes, and it's like we took almost 1 year to just like think how we would start to find also the 30 families. Like for example, I didn't continue from that year onwards, and there was already financial investment, right? Because you need to have maybe a counselor from outside, a third party to mediate. You also need lawyers to find solutions with the local law to make this possible because in many countries, law doesn't predict such kind of living and sharing from one space, and people are still concerned about their property. So, like, if you buy a farm together, how do you divide the pieces? If it shouldn't be divided, if it should be something common. And if you die, who comes along? And if they don't share the same purpose, it's like your child, but they don't share the same purpose, and then, right? So all these kinds of questions, they pop up, but it's a beautiful exercise that I think, even if you never thought about
Wow.
it, maybe this is the homework for the week. I will suggest, if you never thought about it, maybe sit down one day, one night this week, and like, if I would, why I would do that, like build a village, with which purpose, what I would do there, with which kind of people, and what is property for me. How much am I willing to share? How much of my money am I willing to take to build a new infrastructure somewhere, to lower density in cities? Like, what am I willing to do? Like, from my pocket, from my hands, from my dreams.
Wow. And to see how challenges, wow. I think I will stay a bit in Berlin, because last year I went to the Fernsehturm, to the television tower with Leo, and there something happened with me. I
Mm.
got a crush on Berlin somehow. Before it was like, I want to go out, and then and no, when I went to England, I also understood I definitely I'm here for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure when this is done, what I should do here, I feel definitely that I will be in nature, and I need that now today
Mm-hmm.
as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going out as um yeah, it's also about that purpose. Why you're there, why I'm here. It's so interesting to those learnings. And when you were talking about flights and uh, yeah, before in the first part, I want to share what Mother Earth was telling me half a year ago. It was about flying, because I that much, because or at all, because of those questions. And so, and she said, really, do you think I'm not capable of handling those felt like those big farts? um, and it's more important to her to connect, to share the love. So if those travel happens in order to make love on some whatever level at all, it doesn't matter whether there's a parent living there, you need to
Mm-hmm.
travel, or whatever makes one happy. That's and I was very hesitant to share that, because this kind of view or perspective might destroy some
Yes.
projects there. um, well, it doesn't. You know what I mean? It's just it was shown to me that it just happens that Earth is getting warmer, and there's nothing we can do about that. It's something different how we behave here, whether we throw everything just on the street.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the point. But they showed me that Earth will get warmer anyways. So, and the house, what was shown to me as well, how it was round,
Mm-hmm.
um, and half of it was like on a mountain, which like
Okay.
this shape or something like that. And then they took some earth out, and then there was that bubble,
Okay.
and the stability comes from a triangle that way and a triangle that way,
Okay.
constructed from wood or whatever. And so this is, that maybe from Archangel, um, this
Mm-hmm.
one,
Okay. The symbol.
and yeah, it's for stability. And this is what I saw there. And the part which was not in the hill, this part here outside, it wasn't glass. It was some kind of mm, like a foil, like something where light could transmit to through. Maybe, I don't know, some material, and you could look outside and you could also look inside, but it definitely wasn't glass.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were in the ground floor. Um, they could. Then there was a second floor, and there were like rooms. And from that hill, which that part was below the earth, they made some holes in it, um, which put light into the rooms below. And there was
Mm-hmm.
some not a glass, but like a plate, something, and this made that was also collecting the light and making it very light in the room. And that was interesting because why use light if electricity when it's already there? Yeah. Um, and on the third floor there was like a farming area. They
Mm-hmm.
um, like grown plants. Yeah. So it
Mm-hmm.
looked like they could survive with that hole, and it was. I haven't seen the door. I don't know how you get inside that.
No, it's
Um,
great. Just keep
but
describing it, Zeke. It's so important.
I can also share a picture of that. I have that. I noted that because I'm always afraid to
Yes.
forget about that one.
Yes. Yes. That's good.
And and so the warmth comes from the sun or from the earth warmth. I think. Yeah, and yeah, this is what I wanted to share
Yes. And this
with that.
channeling, guys, girls, women, men, like everybody listening, this, what you just saw, like Zeka was channeling a
This is
technology.
old. I got that 2 years ago.
She's
So there
channeling
was just
information, right? So this is being part of the purpose. And I mean, she's not an architect, she's not an engineer. And then you ask yourself, probably right, like, what the hell am I getting this? But there is a
yeah.
why, right? And I think, like, when you like, we are in this exercise of connecting and connecting to understand, why am I getting this information, right? Which is my part in it. Because if you are getting it, if you are not, even if it's not like so clear at the first sight, because as I said, like, you are not an architect, you are not an engineer, but there is a why you are getting it. And like you said, you sensed, I need to stay in Berlin. There is also a why. And this needs to connect people with our self knowledge. So if you don't have self knowledge yet, if you are not sure of your capabilities, start making this exercise, like going to therapy, go to coaching, do your meditation, write down notes, use another kind of way to figure it out. But what every single being this planet needs to have clear is like, those are my qualities. This is what I can do, and not only in the mental, not only in the emotional, but like in the hands-on mode. So write down this in a paper, right? We should, like, I need
Then
to do this all the time too, like my mental qualities, my emotional qualities, and my hands-on qualities. And like, don't focus on general stuff, like I do this really well, other people don't do this. Like, this is my specialty, this is the reason why you know, that the greater being will guide me through something.
Um, there might be, well, I can, it's so important to do this. I totally agree. But what took me years to understand is that I really have these abilities.
Yes.
There were so many times where I thought I was completely nuts. And so if you think you have a special ability, but maybe you think you're not worth, I also thought how I am able to receive that, because I consider it to be a great honor, and I'm deeply grateful for that. I'm so, wow, thank you so much. Um, but it took me quite a long time to understand that is okay, and to feel worthy for that, and to feel well, to feel, yes, this is part of me. Yes, this is special. I love it. I'm grateful for it. And um, maybe there are some people who already know what might be special about them, but to really step into that power is a not completely different thing. It's really to work with that, to show yourself with that. uh, that's such a big step, and I really want to empower you to do that, to work with it, to share it, and to show yourself with that.
Hmm. And then, even if we don't get channeling or messages, because not everybody is still there, but yes, it will become normal for every person in the world. Everybody will do that when they are connected, right? But even if you are not, even if you don't channel, even if you don't listen the above, just like look around, really just look around in the world and ask yourself, what do I need to do to help this change? Which are my qualities to help this change into the new, into the Aquarius area, into a sustainable world? You can be very material. You don't need to be spiritual if this is too crazy. You can be very material, but ask yourself, how can this world become more sustainable, and how can I do something about it?
And this is the point exactly where I'm now. It's like, okay, doop, 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 doop. And now how should I go on? I just, I was like a turtle this weekend, doing nothing. Well, I did something, of course. Uh, in calmness, to be able to hear better. To, um, yeah, just there's so much distraction. You can't focus on yourself. Therefore, I needed to go beyond. I need to do that. You're not work. No, not. But in my world, I am working, because working on how to be really, really still, how to be really, really open, to be open, working. Because if I'm not careful, I I can do it again next
Hmm.
year or so. So I will do it very, very yeah,
Lovingly.
carefully. Yeah,
Lovingly.
lovingly, yeah. And maybe it's okay if it takes time. And if
Hmm.
you are on that same page right now, and I know some of those who will listen that, who watch that, they are. Um, so I got so many questions in the last weeks from people who say, well, this and that, it's not working. I feel tired. I can't work. I can't go on with this work. What's happening now? How can I go on? And yeah, it's especially that thing, to calm down and to really feel, and don't expect that this will happen like this.
Mm.
So like in 2 minutes, you know everything. No, because I feel like it's about going through those processes, going through those like shadows again. I had last week 2 situations which reflected my shadows, and I was like, oh really? Oh no, that's stuff. Oh. And and I'm grateful for. And this also takes time. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's better to go on rushing and to oversee maybe some things because we are guided right now. We get so much help right now. And yeah, to use it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So we can wrap it up. We can wrap it up. Thanks for being with us, people, as well, and reminding everybody, please contact us, be in touch with us if you know somebody or if you are willing to translate these chapters into your language. And not only translate, but be part of this with me and Zika. We need you. We are searching for you because this message and these reflections, they need to go across the whole planet. And this is not a joke. This is for real. In a few months, these messages will be going around the planet. So we need you. We are searching for you. So just say a hi, be here, be on my Instagram channel, on Zika's Instagram channel, or in the comments anywhere. We are here listening and just waiting for you to come. Thanks so much, Zika. Every week, this is
I
getting
got it's also also to contribute in case of their kind of their uh, in case of a special topic, so we can meet, talk about that, and to see what um even from a different person that will want would wants to share that with us or wants to go live with us. Yeah.
exactly. Thank you, my dear. Have a wonderful week, people. See you next Monday.
Thank you so much, Caro.
Bye.
Yeah. All the best. Bye.